Silicon Dreams is the best story-driven game that was released in 2021. You don't have to take my word for it. This may be another hidden indie gem, but it actually ranks among some of the highest rated games of all time. At the time of making this video, it has 98% positive reviews on Steam. Note that this is a very spoilable game, so I'll stick to early gameplay footage to keep this review spoiler free. So with that said, let's jump straight into it and talk about what Silicon Dreams is and why it's so good. The theme borrows heavily from movies like Blade Runner and games like Detroit Become Human. I played both Detroit Become Human and Silicon Dreams around the same time, and as much as I enjoyed the story and tough choices in Detroit Become Human, I think the overall writing in Silicon Dreams is even better. The fact is, the writing in Silicon Dreams is extremely well done. Characters feel real, your choices have consequences even in cases where you may not realize you are busy making a choice. You will deal with moral dilemmas, and the game is extremely good at pulling you in and getting you emotionally invested in your player character and other characters. Where Silicon Dreams is unique and stands in stark contrast to other games is how the dialogue trees play out. In most games, you will simply exhaust all options in any order, and it doesn't really matter how you go about doing this. One example is Mass Effect, where you can simply click on every dialogue option. In Mass Effect, dialogue options that have consequences are clearly highlighted, and the game even goes as far to say which options are Paragon or Renegade, which loosely sometimes corresponds to bad or good options as they would be traditionally classified. While this approach works for most games, it doesn't feel particularly authentic. Real conversations can be more unpredictable and evolve as a discussion progresses. In a real conversation, it's possible to say something knowingly or unknowingly that may even impact your relationship with that person or have some other consequences down the line. This level of nuance is something that is very difficult to represent in a game, and that's why most games don't opt for such complex dialogue systems. This is not the case in Silicon Dreams. Dialogue options feel much closer to real-life conversations. Choosing a particular question or statement early on could change the way a conversation unfolds throughout the interrogation. The game drives this point home early on. During one of my early interrogations, I asked someone questions that I hadn't used earlier on, but that she had already answered during the course of our conversation. I just did this to see what would happen. And she started getting annoyed and asking me if we hadn't already covered this and implying that I wasn't paying attention. The dialogue options could even impact the way a given subplot or the overall plot plays out. Not everything you say has an impact, of course, but some things do, and just like in real life, the game isn't going to spell that out for you. I love that the game has been developed with this in mind. It adds a lot of weight to the characters you meet, the conversations you have, and the decisions you make. This really sets Silicon Dreams apart from other immersive storytelling games. Each interrogation feels different, and it has enough substance to stand on its own. At the same time though, a plot will start emerging as you connect the dots between different people and interrogations, and it's a story that I became really invested in. You'll deal with androids, humans, and without spoiling anything, in some cases it may not be clear what you're dealing with. Characters are complex. The exploration of morality in this game extends well beyond simple ideas about good and evil, and you can expect a lot of nuance in the themes, debates, and choices presented in the game. There were moments in the game where I felt genuine empathy and fear for my character and other characters. You can also expect some interesting twists along the way, nothing that feels forced, but you'll definitely be on the edge of your seat at times. Don't get me wrong, the themes that are explored here have all been explored before in games like Detroit Become Human, but to me it felt like Silicon Dreams just does a much better job at making these feel real and hit home for the player. As for replay value, there is some replay value here, but my guess is the most entertaining playthrough will always be your first one. There are lots of different outcomes and endings, but my guess is most players will probably play through once or twice. The single playthrough takes about 5 hours. Now that's not a bad thing though. This is a story-driven game that emphasizes quality over quantity, and I think this experience is easily worth it at the full price point, even if you are just going to play through it once or twice. So in summary, if you like story-driven games and you appreciate good writing, this one is a must-have. If you have played Silicon Dreams, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. If there's enough interest, I may make a video analyzing the themes and issues explored in this game by going into story spoilers and having more of a philosophical debate on it somewhere down the line. That's it from my side for this review. As always, if you like this content, do like and subscribe, and I'll see you for my next video.